Hey there, Sovereigns. Monica Grace from cardreadingqueen.com here. This content is the twin soul Trinity and why you will never be with your twin soul without it. So, the twin soul Trinity is a concept that I talk about on my site, cardreadingqueen.com, and I'll give some background on what it is. So I first learned about twin souls without learning the actual term. So I only learned the twin soul term probably like 2016 was when I first came across it. But I had actually learned about twin souls much earlier, going back to about probably like a decade earlier. So 2006, I learned about twin souls, and then 2016 was when I actually learned about them in the context of the word or of the phrase. And so I first learned about twin souls through premarital counseling with the Catholic Church. So I was getting married, and I was, we were going through just this Catholic counseling that you have to do to be married in their church. And the priest was explaining to me this concept, and he said that a Catholic marriage, or really just marriage in general, was a relationship between two people who were each cultivating their own relationships with God. And as the two people grew toward God, they actually grew toward each other as well. And so this is the concept of the twin soul Trinity. It's basically your higher power, you, and your twin soul. And so every religion, it's not just Catholicism. I've since learned that almost every religion understands this concept on some level and explores this concept on some level. And so, basically when he was talking about this, I literally can't remember hardly anything else about this pre-counseling. But when the priest explained this to me, it was like, there was just something about it that I knew I wanted. And so I remember talking to my fiance at that time, about it, and just like, it's like just this idea had like really captured my attention and my interest. And it makes sense because this journey was one that I was always like meant to go on or attracted to in some way. So it was like my heart knew that desire before I had these same words to put to it. So I talked to my fiance about it. He said he was interested, but it turned out he really wasn't. But we started going to church every week and like exploring church leading up to our wedding. And it was something that I was like really into. And I thought he was too. But then after we got married, he was pretty much like, oh yeah, he's like, no, like, I don't want to go to church with you. And he was pretty much like, oh, we just did that to get married. So this was kind of my first heartbreak around this concept of the twin soul relationship, because I realized like, oh, well, this was never real. Like we never got married in this way. Cause the whole idea of it was like, you would never get divorced because the two of you just keep going deeper with God. And that's what holds the marriage together. So it was like this marriage of this Trinity. So I kind of realized like, oh, this just isn't a marriage of this Trinity. And like, it's not the same. And like, it didn't mean the same thing that it meant to me. And so we didn't get divorced right away, but we did end up getting divorced like 4 or 5 years later. And for like many, many reasons besides this. But that was kind of my first taste with the concept. And so then, over time, I got into personal development. I did a blog, about personal development, And the idea was that you can improve everything in your life by working on yourself. I think people, lots of people kind of go for this. Personal development is nice because it's really goal oriented and obviously secular. Like, people don't think of it as related to God. But what it really is, it actually is related to God in the sense that you consider yourself your own creator. So you are doing the inner work of the twin soul journey. If you're on the twin soul journey, you are doing the inner work of it, but you are treating yourself as the creator. So that was my next experience with twin souls. So then I had kind of drifted away from the Catholic Church for sure, and then God as well, especially with going through my divorce, and even going through my marriage, because I was like, this is not what I wanted. This is not what God promised me. And so I was I had grown very distrustful of God, and had lots of triggers around it, as many people do. So many people have triggers around God, and the good thing is that God will get around those triggers. So the next thing that I was attracted to, because I was very much like, I'm either I think I'm agnostic, but I really feel like I'm atheist. Like, I don't even believe in God at all. Like, I don't believe in any higher power. And so God got around that by introducing me to the law of attraction. And the thing with the law of attraction is that, and I think a lot of people get into it this way, is that I got to a place where I needed money and I wanted to manifest it. And so I think a lot of people, this is like a gateway for them into the concepts of the law of attraction. And so basically, this is about, you can manifest anything you desire by deepening your relationship with the universe, right? So instead of the word God, we use the word the universe. And so think about this though. As you get more in alignment with the things you desire, which already exist out there in the universe, those things come toward you in the physical. Or another way of saying that, so that's what the law of attraction is. Another way of saying that is, you heal the physical separation between you and the thing you want. And so then the law of attraction also teaches that getting into alignment is uncovering your subconscious blocks and false beliefs and releasing them. And so the law of attraction basically teaches you that the only thing between you and your desire is false beliefs and blocks. And so as you remove them, it's you actually don't even move toward, it's not a journey or a path. You're actually just removing blocks, and then that thing comes to you. So personal development is like, you take step-by-step action toward your goals, so you're the one moving. Law of attraction is, you just remove all the junk and things come to you instead. Like, you stay stationary essentially. Which is, there's the I don't want to get too deep into it, but I was a physics minor, so like, if something is coming toward you, you are also going toward it. So I want to be clear about that, but I just wanted to kind of compare, contrast those two approaches to like the same thing, basically. So that was my third introduction to the twin soul journey, or to the twin soul work. And then my fourth one was the twin soul teachings. So what the twin soul teachings do, they're all founded on the law of attraction. So if you believe in the law of attraction, then you believe in twin souls. The block that I had around it is that I believed I could manifest money by deepening my relationship with the universe. I never believed, though, that I could manifest love by deepening my relationship with the universe, because I thought that a person has their own free will. Like, I just didn't think you could manifest actual people into your life. And that this is a very common block. But the twin soul work helps you break through that block. So basically, it's the same concepts. So your twin is you, for example. In the law, with the law of attraction principles, you would say your money is you, in the sense that, it's your money is just a reflection of the value you believe you have. And it's just the same thing. It's like your twin soul, and the love you're receiving for them is a reflection of the love you have within you. So it's saying the same thing. Everything your twin is doing is a reflection of something inside you. Everything your money is doing is a reflection of something inside you. So twin soul work is just basically the application of the law of attraction to romantic relationships. And it's building your relationship with the universe, God, your creator, whatever you want to call it. All the same thing, by the way. God, if you are having God triggers, it probably has to do with something you grew up with around religion, most likely, or some time or some situation in which you thought that God betrayed you. Like you expected God to do something in your life and he didn't. And it's the same thing. It's like, with the universe, you could experience the same thing. Like you think you know how the universe works, and then the universe doesn't work that way. And it turns out you were just thinking it was a false belief you had from your wounding, and so on. So as you build your relationship with the universe, God, your creator, your higher power, source, spirit, or just like yourself, your life in general, like whatever you want to call it, as you build this relationship, you're able to manifest the things you want to you more easily. And so this requires faith that your desires are meant for you. It requires the belief that if you can get in alignment with your desire, it will come to you in the physical. Or in other words, it requires you to believe that you can heal physical separation between you and anything or anyone. So let me find the rest of my notes on this. All right, so basically the twin soul trinity, it encompasses all these things. Like it is, just as I described at the beginning, the relationship between you and your twin soul. As each one of you individually grows closer to your higher power, you also grow closer to each other. You heal the physical separation with each other. And it applies to, it applies through all these other things as well. So it applies through the law of attraction. You have yourself, you have the thing you want, and there's a physical separation between those. So you're experiencing that thing as separate from you in your reality. And as you build your relationship with the universe, you start to attract that to you. Or as you heal that separation between you and the thing, the two of you are like in vibration with each other again, and as a result unite in the physical. And then it's the same thing in personal development. You basically have you have your goal, and as you take steps toward that goal, or essentially build your relationship, in this case not with the universe but with your external reality, then you come into union with that goal. And so I wanted to describe it in this way, to help you kind of connect the dots between things that you already know and understand and the twin soul trinity concept, which is that you have you've always been in this trinity, basically. Like everything you've ever wanted is, so there's always been you in the trinity, and then there's this thing you want that's at one of the other two ends of this triangle. And then there's your higher power at the third end. And this has always been the case in any transformation or growth work that you've done. But it's called something different in each case. And the concepts are explained differently in each case. But it's all the same thing. And so you have to understand that you may have entered the twin soul journey recently, within the last couple of years, but you have always been in this Trinity, like whether you realized it or not. And you may have thought that you were by yourself, by yourself working toward your goals, or and like that, you were just on your own. You may have even thought that you were by yourself, like attracting things into your reality. But in truth, you have always been a part of this Trinity. And understanding that this Trinity is your natural way of being helps you understand why the mirror between you and your twin soul is critical, like why the two of you make the same core choices. And it's because every time you make a decision that heals separation, you are it's like if you think of yourself and this thing you want, which is maybe your twin soul, it could be money, it could be whatever, it could be a new house, like whatever you want to say, could be a goal of some sort, like I want to lift 50 pounds, I don't know, but you think of these two things as having like 10 boxes between them. And so as you do your inner work, or even as you do your outer work, you're removing those boxes. And the two things, you and this thing, are coming closer and closer together as you remove these boxes, because that space is, it's not filling, I guess. So you remove the box, and now the two of you are only 9 boxes apart. And then you remove another box, and now the two of you are only 8 boxes apart, and so on. And so this has always existed for you. And as you've also always had to, so that's why the two of you mirror each other. That's why as you do your inner work, your twin soul also does your inner work, because the inner work is literally the same. It's the same 10 boxes. So if you remove one, then now your twin soul only has 9 boxes to work through as well. So that's that part of it. And then the creator side of it is, it's kind of the same thing. So because you have the same, essentially the same mirrored relationship to your higher power as your twin soul. And as you come closer to your twin soul, you're also coming closer to God. So it's realizing that this triangle is actually like it's not even a triangle, it's actually a single point. It's like 3, the triangle has 3 points on it. And then it has lines connecting it. But in truth, and at its purest form, this triangle would be 3 points stacked on top of each other. Or in other words, it would be the points without the 10 boxes between them. And so as you close in on your relationship with your higher power, you then close in on your twin soul as well. And so you really have to understand that it's the same thing. Like it's all the same thing. Like and it gives you multiple paths to your twin soul. So you can kind of step by step try to get to them in the physical. That typically doesn't work very well. It's very slow, but you could do that. You can also do your inner work, and it'll start bringing you closer to them. Do your inner work based on their reflection, and it'll bring you closer to them. Or you can also just grow closer to your creator. Like, you can just move closer and closer to your creator, and your twin soul has to appear in the physical. And it's not just your twin soul, it's actually every desire that you have has to appear in the physical, because they are all bound by this twin soul trinity. So I don't know if I'm helping to explain this well, or if I'm just making a mess of it. But because of this trinity, until you understand this trinity, until you understand that these 3 points at the end of this triangle exist, until you understand that at their purest form, with no false beliefs, no self-sabotage, that those 3 points become a stack of points. They effectively become the same point. Until you can understand that, visualize it, feel the truth of it, you're going to have a hard time getting to your twin soul. And what will help you is to see past experiences in your life where you experience this triangle. And so if you want to work your way back through it, then definitely study the law of attraction. That's going to help you understand it. But even, if you are looking for something more practical, you could even look at like times in your life when personal development helped you in some way, helped you reach a goal, helped you, make whatever transformation you needed. So for me, I wanted to learn how to write fast, so that I could write a book. And now I've written a lot of books, but at this point I was still struggling to write a book, and I wanted to learn how to write fast. And so I did a lot of personal development work, and I was doing the steps in the physical. And doing those steps in the physical, it was a slower process than just doing the inner work and creating like my own inner transformation. But those steps on the outside still created the inner transformation for me. And it was truly going deeper into myself, identifying false beliefs, moving the subconscious to the conscious to be released. It was really like the same exact work, but I was calling it personal development. And even though I thought I was doing it on my own, I was actually building that relationship with life. That was that third point on that triangle. And I realized as I was going through it, I not only achieved that those inner gains and that inner transformation, but I also was able to apply it to many other areas of my life. So that's what I mean by like you're building that relationship with life as well. It's like, oh, it's not only that I can write fast, it's also that I can now do a lot of things faster. And so I experienced that. And that's how you know that third point on the triangle is real. I hope this was helpful to you. If you want to, you can check out more of my videos on my channel, cardreadingqueen.com/YouTube. You can also check out my podcast, Your Twin Soul Journey. It's available on Spotify, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and many other podcast platforms. And then you can also check out my blog, cardreadingqueen.com/blog. And I talk more about twin souls and also more about this concept. I'm really, every single piece of content I make is actually just about this twin soul trinity. And I'm just approaching it from different angles, but it's all the same thing. And understanding this twin soul trinity is the way to your twin soul. So I hope this was helpful to you. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Have a beautiful and blessed day.